And good afternoon, Gary.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, and thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, for the audience today, we have Garry Farr, who's the CEO and founder of Anthony James, a kind of like a cutting edge hairdresser salon, who's been in industry for a while. So we're going to hear all about that. So we're definitely looking forward to that. Obviously, you can hear me well. I can hear you properly. Yeah.
yes,
Okay,
yeah.
fantastic. Anthony, first and foremost, congratulations on your anniversary and the incredible success of Anthony James. Obviously you're an award-winning brand I've seen. So what's been the most rewarding aspect of building such a renowned salon over the years?
I think the most rewarding bit is just keeping going and seeing the people grow. We've had quite a few people, as you can imagine, over 25 years. We've had quite a few people come and go,
Yeah.
but we've had people that's worked for us for 16 years, 14 years. With someone now that's here that's 13 years. It's just really good to see them kind of grow in the industry and go from being an apprentice and watching them grow, getting a full column, and even the people that have left us to open their own salons. That's great because it's something we did.
Right, yeah, that's really good. So tell me a little bit about your journey. How did you get to where you are today? It's obviously, a long journey. Let's hear a little bit about that.
About myself or the salon?
Well, yourself primarily,
Okay.
and then perhaps the salon. Yeah.
Okay. Well, as I said, I've been in the industry 52 years. I started in April the 16th, 1974. Worked at quite a prestigious salon called Steiner's, who had around 56 salons in the UK and on the ships as well. Um, Left there, went to work for Glenby International, another prestigious salon. Then I left to work for the manager that owned the salon, and we were there 16 years before I got my own salon.
Incredible.
Then I got my own salon, unfortunately got divorced, wanted just to have an easier life.
Yeah.
So I moved into a friend's salon as self-employed.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
Then kind of felt lonely because they left me on my own, got a bit fed up. Then I became an educator for a colour company called
Oh,
Matrix for
okay.
Yorkshire and Humberside.
Yeah.
Um, Worked for Matrix, then worked with a company called TG in sales and education. Weren't very good at the sales bit, didn't like that.
Okay.
Then I worked for another colour company in the north of England called Joyco, Fudge and GHD.
Okay.
Um, Before I met Joanne, my partner,
Okay.
who
Oh,
who is
fantastic.
in the salon as well.
Okay. Excellent.
It,
So,
it's mainly her salon, but I joined her.
okay. So you're kind of like you consolidate with your expertise and experience. Yeah.
Yeah, she needed help. Joanne's an hairdresser,
Okay.
that's all, and she won't mind me saying that.
Okay.
She loves coming in and doing hair, being with the clients, giving the clients the best care she can because she's fantastic at that.
Right.
That's why she's a busy stylist, really. And she needed someone to come in to run the salon.
Okay.
I
All
got
right.
a bit fed up of hairdressing,
Yeah.
still love the industry.
Yeah.
So I came in as the kind of, I run the salon now.
Okay. Oh, brilliant. So your website showcases like an exceptional, you've spoken about your partner, showcases an exceptional guest experience. So how has maintaining that unique high quality experience evolved as the business has grown?
Well, I've always been, we're starting at Steiner. Steiner
Yeah.
was always about the experience, always. And then it's just something that I just think is so important nowadays.
Yeah, it is.
That's what differentiates you from other salons
Yeah.
is, just really caring about people, being friendly to them. There's one
Yeah.
thing we don't want to be is too pompous. We want clients to come in and
Right.
feel like this is a bit like Starbucks where they said it's the third home, the third
Okay.
place. We
Yeah.
want clients to come in and feel like this is their home.
Yeah. So you want,
We don't mind if they hang the coats up because it means they feel at home,
right?
you
Okay,
know, and we look after
well,
clients.
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think that's what really distinguishes us brands. The customer experience. When you're coming into well, let's say for instance, when I go and get my hair cut or whatever, you don't want to feel as if you're part of a production line.
true.
I guess that you sort of like you build the clientele, you get repeat customers, and
Yeah,
all that kind of thing.
retention is everything
Yeah, I can
to us.
imagine. Right,
The way we look at it is if you can retain your clients, you don't have to chase new clients all the time.
which is very true. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So, what would you say? Well, you've spoken about it a little bit, but what would you say are your unique selling points? Apart, what are your? I don't want to repeat myself. What are your unique selling points?
I know what you mean. It's really difficult to have a unique selling point because as soon as you get one, everybody seems to go in it. I just feel like we have to look forward. We have to keep improving the
Yeah,
experience.
yeah,
You know, whether it's AI that's coming in, just really is giving a damn about clients.
yeah, yeah. That's
You
brilliant.
know, saying that invisible kind of message to them, which we care.
Yeah, yeah. No,
And
that's brilliant. Yeah,
if you look on our reviews, it's all about the staff. Sorry, the team. I hate that staff. The
yeah.
team
Staff, yeah, staff is a bit.
friendly,
You know,
helping people. You know, and that's our ethos really.
that's brilliant. I guess that's one of the. Well, obviously, that's why you've sustained yourselves as an
The thing
entity
is,
of quality for so long.
yeah,
Yeah.
the thing is, people, it's not cheap to have your hair done nowadays.
No, it's not.
You know, it really isn't, and that's not because we're greedy. That's because everything has,
The
got
costs
more
have
expensive.
skyrocketed, the overheads.
Yeah, and I say to my team, you draw £100 out. What do you expect for that? Do you know? Would you go somewhere that the service weren't great?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
wouldn't.
if you're spending 150, £200 on your hair, you want that good service.
Of course. Of course. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So what would you say is one of the things, obviously there's a lot of good things going on for you. What would you say is working really well for you? What are you most proud of, Gary? What are you most proud of
I'm
within your
just,
work and the business?
do you know, it's a team we've got,
Yeah. Right.
and that's all I can say.
Yeah.
Being in the, being 25 years coming up on Friday takes
Wow.
some doing.
Yeah.
And you know the way that me and Joanne do it is we try to look after his team as much as
Yeah.
we can.
Excellent. Excellent.
Give them every perk we can. We're flexible with them, and they serve us well through doing that.
Yeah, brilliant, fantastic. So let's just say that you've spoken a little bit about kind of adapting, and obviously 25 years has been a long time. Just a short, sharp kind of the changes must have been incredible. There must have been so many changes. What would you say? What would you say like two or three really definitive changes in your business over the 25 years that you have seen? Yeah.
Expectations.
All right. Okay.
That's the most definite. When I first came into the industry, it was shampoo and sets you could do. There weren't many hairdressers around.
Yep.
You could do maybe 11 to 15 clients a day.
Right.
Where now you could do 5 to 6 clients a day if you've got colours in.
Yeah.
But the expectations are so high because
Right.
they bring photographs in from AI,
All
and
right. So they say, I
so
want it to be just like that. Yeah.
yes, yeah. So expectations is the hardest bit.
Right. Okay. Okay. Wow. So obviously, expectations are high. So there's more effort. The bar is much higher. It's more competitive, you
Do you
know?
know what? I think the main point is honesty to clients. You know, when clients have got expectation, and this is another thing we do because we have promises to clients. We've got it up in the salon, and one of the promises is to be honest to them. So if we don't think we can achieve
What they want. You
what they
just,
want, we
yeah.
will tell them that rather than try to achieve it and it not being right for them.
And that creates a lot of headache after the experience.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you're talking about, things are changing. So in today's rapidly evolving market, What businesses are constantly trying to be agile. You've obviously had to have been resilient and agile. You are resilient and agile. You've got the grit to have sort of like stayed up there.
Hmm.
We often see leaders. You spoke about technology. How do you see your sort of like adapting to that? To
Well,
technology.
I'm glad to say that
Perhaps with
I think it.
marketing, operational efficiency. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I thought you'd finished. Um, we're quite fortunate because I don't think robots will take over cutting hair.
No. No.
So we're quite fortunate in that respect. However, AI is coming into the industry. We are looking to get the telephone AI because there's sometimes when everybody's busy and the phone's going and you have to break off your clients sometimes 3 to 4 times. Well, with the service we want to give,
It's seamless. You
that
want it
yeah.
seamless. Yeah.
So if we had AI on the telephone system and we could switch it on and off for when we needed it, that that is the thing. And down the line, AI for consultations. So it is going to be a big part of our industry. I can't see us lose it. The only ones that may lose out are receptionists.
Wow. So you also mentioned, I remember, Gary, you mentioned, client retention as
Hmm.
one of the, so obviously it's a sort of like it's essential for your business. So how are you currently approaching client retention? How do you see that? What are some of the biggest challenges you face in keeping them up? Well, obviously keeping them coming back. You've got to, you're good at what you do. Are
Yeah.
there any other factors that you use to retain clients or?
No, if a client has got, say, if a client tells a stylist that they're having a problem or something's coming up,
Yeah.
which they always do because they do confide in their hairdressers.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
like
a barman.
counselors.
It's like late at night, the barman who knows everything about
Yeah,
the
correct.
guy in front of him drinking down his sorrows. Yeah.
The hairdresser does. But
Yeah.
um, what we do is if one of the girls says, "Oh, so and so's this or that," we have got cards that say "thinking of you," like
All
postcards,
right.
and we
Okay.
actually write a little message and send it to the client.
Okay. Oh, excellent.
Um,
So you've
for
got a very
keeping,
kind of you've got a very communicative, good bedside manner.
yeah,
That's all inherent in that, and also, well, communication. That's really good.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Um, we follow up with. I do a email every week
Wow. Okay.
telling, just
Yeah.
nurturing. I don't
Yeah.
I don't sell on it whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's amazing how many clients come in and said, "Oh, I didn't realise hairdressing was so hard."
Wow. Okay.
Because I go into the technical sides of it and things like that, and they are interesting or
Yeah.
interested, should I say?
Okay. Okay. Oh, brilliant. So let's say, obviously you've been in the industry for a while. Well, obviously, for a while. So I'm just thinking that if you, let's say we have this conversation in a year's time,
Yeah.
okay? We have this conversation in a year's time, and let's say, for instance, what would you say? Okay, let me just put it a different way. Let's say you wave your magic wand. This is a
Hmm.
magic wand question. If you had a magic wand and you could fix one single thing that perhaps is a little bit clunky or you think, that's a bit challenging. What would you see that to be?
Um, that's a difficult question, that,
Yeah.
because just like I say, I look forward and see what's out there to help. What I want to be able to do in maybe another year's time
Yeah.
is me not be here as often.
Right. Right. So
You
so
know,
yeah, in a nutshell, Gary, what I would say that is that you want to buy back some of your time.
correct,
Yeah, you want to buy back
correct.
some of your
Yeah,
time.
I've had my time,
Yeah.
and we need systems and
In
procedures down.
place. Yeah. Yeah. I
I
think
think
that's
I think when I think of it, that's the way me and Joanne are looking to go.
to go forward. Yeah.
Mm,
Progressing. Okay,
yeah.
that's makes a lot of sense. Um, wow, we've spoken, quite a, it's so to talk to the audience. What is it that Anthony James, what do you have coming up in the future, in the near future, for your clients? Do you have anything, what would you say, things of interest that, you want to tell, you want to share with your audience?
We're just looking at one or two things now, like looking at AI at the
Yeah,
telephone system.
yeah, yeah.
Um, we're looking to, when I think about it, we just we just want the service to be, like you say, seamless. So I'm always looking out there to see what we can do to make it easier for not just the clients but also the team.
So for the owners, yeah, you want
Yeah,
a business, you've put in the years and this and that. So obviously you've got to a certain level, you've got
yeah,
to a high level, and you want a little bit of, to step back a bit, which makes perfect sense.
yeah,
That
absolutely.
that makes perfect sense. Yeah,
Yeah, but
fantastic.
we will keep on looking after his clients the best we can,
Yeah.
to keep that retention up there. We could get
So
it higher. It's 78%. I want it about 82%.
fantastic. Okay, that's something that definitely one could look at. So to come at your clientele. Obviously, you've been in Halifax.
Yep.
I've been to Halifax actually. I had a very good mate of mine up in Halifax back in the day. So yeah, we went there a couple of times, a couple of summers, for
Yeah.
parties and this and that. So I'm sure Halifax has changed. This is
It
like
has.
I'm going back 20 years or so.
It
So I
has.
mean, most of your clientele, are they from Halifax? Do they come from around the environs or
Yeah,
all over the place? Yeah.
we normally do them from a 10-mile radius, really.
Okay. 10
We have
miles.
people from Bradford, we have people from Huddersfield.
Yeah.
With someone come back from Dubai to have their hair done.
Wow. Okay.
With someone over in that lives over in Wetherby, that lives over in Scarborough, that come to have their hair done.
Excellent. So you're
So, but
very much
it
established.
is like a 10-mile radius.
Fantastic. Oh, excellent. Wow. You've been so what else are you doing so like you've got your 25th anniversary coming up in with
Yeah,
your business. So
yeah,
what have you got for your punters? What are you doing anything
yeah.
special or is there anything?
We're closing on. It's Friday is our 25th, but on
Okay.
Saturday we're closing from 3:30 till 5:30,
Okay.
and we're closing the salon and opening it up. We've invited clients to come to have a drink with us and some eats and just to chat and so we can thank them
Yeah, for their loyalty and
for
everything
their
like that.
loyalty. Yeah, we've got a lot of loyal clients. We've got a lot of clients that Joanna has been doing for the 25 years.
Wow, that's incredible. That's excellent.
Yeah,
Oh, so you're very much so like integrated in the community, which is great, obviously. Yeah, that's
yeah.
fantastic. Wow. Uh, well, Gary, it's been a great. Is there anything else that you want to say? You want to talk about?
No, not really. I think that's
I think
everything.
that from what we've mentioned, I definitely think that we could have a discovery call.
Okay.
We could book in a discovery call for what's today? Whenever's good for your diary, because I'm thinking that yeah, whatever's good for your diary. Could we make it this time next week? Is the 31st a good what's a good day for you?
Without I've no phone with me because I'm
Right.
not one of these people that has a phone all the way around without coming off the computer. Can you maybe ping me over an email and I'll
Yeah,
get back
definitely
to
I'll
you
do
for
that. Yeah,
some
I'll do
good
that.
times? Is that okay?
That is perfectly fine. Yeah, that's brilliant. So thank you, Gary, so much for your discussion. It's been a great, so once again, to tell the audience, Anthony James, a very functioning, cutting edge. Okay, take it away, Gary. Up to you.
Thank you. Yeah, just Anthony James, all about hair because that's what we're all about. We look after people the best we can. Um, we're not, when you say cutting edge, we're more middle of the road salon that
Okay.
just does good hair
Right.
but looks after people well.
Excellent. That sounds good. And on that note, we're going to close this. Thank you very much, Gary. It's
Thanks
been a
for having me.
great pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
I've
Thank you.
really enjoyed it. Thank you.